So I just wanted to go through this above and below the line concept and this concept is about creating culture in our organisation, and as leaders we take responsibility for the culture of the organisation. And what I find in many organisations, and in fact all organisations, there's parts of organisations where the common way to behave when something goes wrong is to defend ourselves or to blame other people or to justify our actions. There's always this sense that I've got to protect myself because I don't want to be blamed for something that went wrong. The problem with that, and I think that's kind of normal human emotion. The problem with that is if we stay in that state too long, we get no problems get solved. We're too busy protecting ourselves, too busy blaming other people, taking the spotlight off us and putting it on someone else, that we don't actually get around to solving the problem. What I'm suggesting is that another way of being, the way to get us from below the line to above the line, is to ask ourselves this question: what can I do about it? Or what can how can I fix this? Or what can I do so it won't happen again? So then we start to get into being solution focused and taking ownership and responsibility. And that's very different from saying, oh, it's all my fault, I'm wrong. It's about, it might not be your fault, it might be someone else, doesn't matter really. What really matters is that we find a solution. That we actually got a problem, so let's focus on the solution. Now, this is emotional, whether you like it or not, that's going to come up. So it's not so much whether it comes up, it's how quickly you move away from it or up from it and into this going, this idea that what I need to do is start looking for solutions rather than blame. And I think from a cultural point of view, many organisations get too caught up in blaming other people, other departments, the boss, the workers, head office. You know, there's always someone you can blame. The IT department's always a good one. Something goes wrong and it's their fault. This is a way of thinking about situations differently and going into, okay, well, I need to be solution focused. And of course, the way to change the organization or our part of the organization is to role model this behavior. In other words, do it ourselves. Lead by example is another way of talking about it. So demonstrating to people on a daily basis that you're not interested in blaming other people. What you're interested in is finding a solution. That's not to say you still need to understand why it went wrong. So you still need to do an investigation of why we got to this point. And in doing that, you might uncover that Bob did something they shouldn't have and Mary didn't do something she should have. And yes, you might need to have a conversation with them about that. But that's very different from standing around and telling everyone that it's Bob and Mary's fault. This is about addressing the problem and making sure it doesn't happen again. If you remember one thing about today, or this program really, I think this is a really powerful tool in terms of changing how we operate in the workplace, because there's a little bit too much of this going on. And people getting stuck there. And some people, that's all they do. They just live their life down there. And those people like having a bitch and complain about everything. Nothing's ever right. You got people in the organisation like that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. In every organisation, there are people who live their life here.
How do you fix them?
It's,
Role model.
it's always someone else's fault. Woe is me. And that's that kind of victim, it's that victim mentality.